tengok dekat dalam OL, nothing much that I have updated in the OL yet. Okay. Because I'm not quite, apa ni? I don't quite agree with the content that I got from the previous lecturer, from previous semester. So, except for a few lah. Okay, so for those yang I'm questioning the reliability of the content, I just hide it from you first. Okay, so basically this week, week 3, we're going to focus on formative assessment, your first data collection. Okay, why is it important? Because it will help you improve your punya prototype, which is your project outcome lah, your main project outcome kan, which is the system or application or game or website, whatever it is. Basically, that is your main project outcome, right? Now, when we talk about evaluation, it is actually part and parcel of you punya project development cycle, regardless of whatever development model that you use. Some might use design thinking, some might be using goal-directed design, ada yang pakai waterfall, ada yang pakai ADDIE, macam-macam lah kan. Those are the development model. Okay. So in all this development model, there will be part where you need to do evaluation. There must be this stage that you need to do evaluation, or else your product ni is not going to be verified lah. Okay, it's not verified, so it will be a major risk for you to put your product out there if it's not being verified through this series of evaluation. Okay, so in terms of evaluation, there are many stages and there are many ways to do it. Okay, and you might get confused on which to start first and how to go about okay, this evaluation. So for your FYP, since you are following module from School of Computing, and because your FYP ni are using course code STIX, and so from SOC. So the normal practice for evaluation, we're going to do the alpha and beta testing lah, which is also known as formative and summative evaluation. But in IT, they will normally use the term alpha and beta testing kan. Okay. Right. Okay, speaking of the term, the terminology formative dengan summative ni, if you were to like Google for information, you might find formative and summative evaluation ni will fall also in the education punya area kan. You will get information like how teachers or educators are using formative evaluation to help their learners learn better. Macam dengan you get confused. Yang dia pun formative evaluation juga. Yes, because it is originally from education punya area, this formative and summative evaluation. But just to make it clear that there are certain things that you need to consider in terms of project evaluation, especially multimedia project evaluation. So I think I better use the term alpha and beta lah kot senang. Alpha testing and beta testing. Okay, so in alpha testing or formative evaluation, there are a few things that you need to consider. And before that, since these two things are normally being, normally people get confused with these two evaluation, formative and summative. Some even skip either one, just have one type of evaluation, okay? Which is not wrong, but it's quite risky. If you are lucky enough, then it's okay lah, okay? But most of the time, it will be such a big risk for you to miss out on any of this evaluation, because each evaluation will give you different advantage to your project, and different, it will help you, will help your project in different ways, right? Okay. So yes, in terms of the evaluation, how can it be done? It can be looked in from two perspectives. It's either from your targeted users perspective, which is the real users, okay? The group that you intend to develop the product for lah, okay? Or also from the expert perspective ataupun the internal perspective, those that involved in the development of the project, like the developers, the designers, the experts, and all that, okay? So we can actually assess from these two perspectives, okay? But in some evaluation, it will require more on certain very specific perspective. Okay, I will tell you more lepas ni. Right. Can you see my screen? Is it showing you the right information? I'm right now showing you this website from Nielsen and Norman Group. This is my go-to website when it comes to solid, reference atau solid guidelines in terms of, design, interaction design, and also user experience. So you can have a lot of useful information from this website. Okay, I really recommend you, especially for multimedia students, that you may be interested to become multimedia expert after this. So these are the go-to website lah that you need to actually know. Okay, yeah, when it comes to get the latest information and also all this reliable new reference. So here in this website, Nielsen Norman ni atau NN Group, it has it has explained and also differentiate these two evaluation in a very straightforward and easy to understand way. Okay. So since our focus is on formative evaluation, but I have to actually explain both juga in general because for you to understand the difference, or else you might be doing the same thing for both. Okay. In fact, I'm going to show you an example from your seniors nanti tu. Even from my own student pun, I'll show you examples which apa isu yang ada dalam report-report tu. Okay. So let's start with formative evaluation. Now here, dekat summary ni ada. Okay. So here it says that formative evaluations are used in an iterative process to make improvements for production. So the keyword is iterative process. What does it mean? Maybe you think like, okay, nak kena buat banyak kali ke? Kan? And then you think that we don't have enough time for that. But the truth is that that's what formative evaluation is for. Is to help you improve your product tu in an iterative manner. Maknanya dia berulang-ulang kali. Contohnya macam you buat apa macam you masak something, so you will maybe stir it a few times and then you add some seasoning and do it. You will repeat a few methods again and again kan until it become like a very perfect dish lah. So the same thing with formative evaluations. It's an iterative process. You like it or not, it has to be iterative. Meaning to say, after you're done your formative evaluation, when you get your data nanti, you need to analyze the data and also you need to do something with the data. Meaning it has to be applied in the next version or improved version of your product. You cannot just stop there. Dapat data and then you report dalam FYP punya report. That's not how you do it. You kena guna feedback itu and buat improvement. Itu yang banyak kali student FYP repeat the same mistake. Dah dapat maklumat, dah dapat feedback and they just report the feedback but they didn't like discuss what the feedback has helped them to improve the prototype. There's no comparison between the prototype before formative and prototype after formative. Selalu diorang tak buat benda tu. I don't know why. I keep on repeating. It has to show some differences. What are the things that you have improved? Okay, but cakap and then bila dapat report, dia orang akan follow macam mana yang senior buat juga. So the same mistake happen every semester. So I really hope that this semester is going to be the semester yang berubah lah segalanya, that change everything. Okay. Right. So meaning to say it is a process that make you improve you punya high fidelity prototype to into something, and it might have few versions. Like after the formative, you might have version 1, version 2, version 3. It depends on how long the timeline that you have lah. Okay, it has to be within logic punya timeline jugalah. Okay. Right. And then just to make comparison to summative ni, summative is actually another type of evaluation that happen normally at the end of the process because it is used to evaluate your product in comparison to a benchmark. So you compare with benchmark. What is comparison to benchmark? Remember bila you buat project ni kan, masa FYP 1, you ada buat banyak comparative analysis kan? So you try to find out as many as possible similar ataupun existing applications yang similar to yours, yang project you ni. Maybe you find like 5 ke, ada 6 ke, ada 12 ke, so you buat comparison. You buat macam metric kan, you compare based on criteria. Okay, so those are the benchmark. Meaning those are the existing product yang ada. And why are you proposing something similar? What are you trying to like promote lah sebenarnya dalam you punya solution tu. So in scientific evaluation, you actually supposed to compare yours with those similar ataupun existing application. Okay. Meaning to say if you done an evaluation on your product, you have to do the same evaluation juga to existing tu. Yang mana you nak ambil sebagai benchmark lah. Taklah ambil 12 tu, mungkin ambil 2, 3 ke, so you compare. Contohnya in terms of, you kata game you ni can help retain learner attention, especially small children punya attention kan. So you try test your game dengan lagi 2 game yang you dah compare masa FYP 1 tu, which one yang better in terms of retaining children attention to focus on whatever they are learning. So that is scientific evaluation. It is measuring the overall experience ataupun result ataupun effectiveness dia. Okay. But it's not the same with formative. Okay. Now formative, since the nature is actually to help you improve you punya prototype tu from version 1, 2, 3 makin baik. So the nature of the evaluation is actually to help you identify what are the flaws. Apa lagi yang kurang dalam project you ni? Apa lagi yang kurang dalam produk you tu? Kat mana flaws dia, kat mana error dia, kat mana lagi yang missing. So that is the objective of formative evaluation. That is very, very important for you to understand right now. Okay. So you cannot ask question macam dalam formative, tanya kan student akan terbalik. Formative tanya soalan macam berkesan ke tak, efficient ke tak, satisfy ke tak. Those are summative evaluation. Sebab those are end apa dia punya end objective dia, the ultimate objective. But informative, since you are still in the design process, you're supposed to ask questions that help you identify kat mana loopholes, kat mana error, kat mana lagi yang missing, kat mana lagi yang kurang. Faham tak? Okay. That's why dia bersifat iterative. Dia kena tanya, dapat feedback, betulkan. Lepas tu tunjuk balik yang tu, okay, jumpa lagi ada kekurangan, betulkan. Sebab tu dia iterative. Okay. So far okay tak? So that's the most important thing. Okay. Lepas ni ada banyak lagi benda detail-detail dia yang I would like to share with you. But this is the most important thing lah yang you kena faham. The major thing yang you kena faham, kalau daripada awal you tak faham, memang seterusnya akan jadi salah. Tapi bila sampai dah hujung semester dah salah, lecturer pun tak boleh nak buat apa. Nak marah pun tak ada masa nak betulkan sebab dia proses kan yang berlaku daripada awal semester. Okay. But it will reflect in you punya result lah. Okay. Okay. So now for formative, dia highlight warna yang bold ni kan. Okay. Informative evaluation ataupun alpha testing ni, dia focus on to determine which aspect of the design work, okay, that work well or not. Maknanya yang fungsi dia sampai ke tak. Okay, that help with the navigation ke tak. The ease, the process ke tak. Okay, so kat mana lagi yang okay tak okay tu, yang boleh kita betulkan, kita boleh fine tune kan dia. Okay, so that is the most important aspect yang nak tengok lah for the evaluation, right? So it will help you to redesign ataupun redevelop you punya prototype tu. So ultimately it will improve lah the whole thing. Okay. This one dia bagi example here. If you were to design a mobile app, okay. Now, formative evaluation is very, very important if you are designing something yang brand new, yang memang baru. Contohnya macam kata you ada research problem, ada project, ada problem yang you identify dalam project you. So you try to come up with solution kan untuk problem tu. Lepas tu apa yang you propose ni macam something yang brand new lah, yang tak ada, yang macam tak banyak similar ataupun existing application. Yang tu lagi sangat-sangat perlu untuk buat formative evaluation. Sebab you tak tahu sama ada apa you design tu, sebab you tak ada benchmark nak compare. Betul ke tak betul? Ada masalah ke tak ada masalah? But if it's something yang you improvise, ni you dah ada version sebelum ni, which I think tak ramai yang buat macam tu kot, okay? Sebab kebetulan project you memang something yang baru lah you buat. katalah you memang ada tapi ada satu projek yang buat nilam. Buat nilam. Nilam is actually an existing application ataupun system. But you're trying to improve the system. Okay, you're trying to improve. So your system has to be something yang not only functioning well macam existing one, but must be even better. Okay, so yang tu pun perlukan formative juga, but in a way that dia kena nampak dia punya apa tu, peningkatan tu dari segi, kalau kata nilam yang lama ni menyusahkan, susah nak key in, yang ni lagi senang nak key in, tapi macam mana proses key in dia tu, apa user interface yang you buat nak bagi mudah nak key in, nampak? Okay, tapi kalau benda tu memang totally baru, brand new, memang tak ada lagi application macam tu, lagilah penting untuk buat formative evaluation. Okay, because you might shock sendirilah kalau you tak buat formative evaluation ni. Sebab you tak ask for the right person to actually identify, okay, the problem for you. Alright. To identify issues with the prototype and then fix with a new design. Okay. Okay. It usually happen multiple times. If you ask me how many times doktor nak kena buat ni, sejauh punya timeline pun tak panjang lagi, dah tak lama dah, tinggal beberapa minggu je lagi kan, sebelum you kena buat summative. Kelas raya and what not apa semua tu. So you have to like really strategize lah benda tu. Okay, if you can do it like 2 kali pun saya dah cukup baik. Okay, normally 1 round of formative evaluation is not good enough because you might misinterpret the feedback. You dapat feedback, orang tu cakap macam ni, lepas tu you betulkan, makin teruk jadi kan. Ataupun makin lari daripada dia punya apa kata, dia punya maksud sebenar feedback tu. So you have to actually go back, okay, to the respondent yang bagi feedback tu and ask whether you have done it correctly or not. At least 2 kali lah. Sekurang-kurangnya 2 kali sepatutnya. Okay. Okay. So formative evaluations ni are meant to steer the design. Ni dia akan make sure you are on the right path lah bila you design something tu. Okay. Alright. Sometimes student takut nak buat formative evaluation ni, nak tanya benda-benda macam ni, takut orang nampak apa flaw dia rasa down. Itu sebenarnya tujuan formative evaluation, nak cari flaw tu kat mana, nak cari kat mana masalah tu nak dibetulkan. Okay, dia orang cuma akan buat evaluation bila dia punya projek tu dah ready, dah bagus, dia orang rasa bagus lah. Okay, you takut sangat kalau orang jumpa flaws tu. Sebenarnya itu tujuan formative evaluation, to help you identify the flaws. And that one also will make a good report that you actually tengok sampai, orang kata sampai level tu lah, nak tengok setiap scene, setiap user interface, setiap elemen dalam interface itu, it should bring something that help with the process. Okay. Right, so that is formative evaluation. Now, dekat page ni, okay, this one, ni kecil sikit. Page ni pun dah lama. Usability be okay, usability body of knowledge is quite, orang kata apa, old reference lah, but not that old. Last update pun 2012, but it has some still some useful information juga. Sebab benda-benda macam ni bukannya baru sangat, daripada dulu lagi. In fact, this formative dengan some evaluation ni has started some way back in 60s, 50s, 60s, orang dah cakap dah pasal benda ni. So it's quite established lah, okay, this kind of evaluation. So here, in this particular website, usability be okay ni, what I want to highlight here is that, okay, maybe I've heard about usability evaluation, kan? Usability evaluation, dia ada dia punya guideline dia, ada heuristic dia, ada item-item yang kena tengok, okay? So, basically dalam ni dia beritahu, so dia sama juga, dia kata dia evaluate product during development, design development, often iterative, see? The same thing, mesti berulang kali. With the goal, okay, yang penting, with the goal of detecting and eliminating usability problems. Any flaws, any errors, any bugs, you kena fix masa tu lah. Okay. Jangan you sorok benda tu daripada you punya responder. You tak nak tunjuk lah part yang masalah ni, part tiba-tiba keluar error tu. Part tu yang kena tunjuk sebenarnya. So dia boleh highlightkan, maybe you need to simplify ke, dia punya script ke apa ke. Okay. So one important aspect of the evaluation is that the audience for the observation and correction is the project team itself. Okay, now talking about the team, talking about siapa yang akan involve dalam formative evaluation ni. Now alpha testing atau formative evaluation ni, dia selalu involve internal team. Okay, it's dari internal lah. Basically, or those yang very closely work closely with the project tu. So for example, like you work with your partner, so both of you should do the formative evaluation, okay? But you can also involve experts lain. Ada developers ke, okay? Ada programmer ke, ada designer ke. But in FYP punya case, most students will go for when it comes to expert tu, they will go for lecturers lah. Kan saya pergi lecturer. So lecturer ni you need to identify lecturer dalam subject matter yang sesuai dengan projek itu. Contohnya buat game untuk kanak-kanak tu kan. Kanak-kanak ada masalah. Pergi tembak-tembak tu. Okay, tak tahu apa masalah dia nak dapat fokus kot. So maybe you need to find expert dalam mobile game development. Okay. Then you need to find also expert in pedagogy ke, in childhood education ke. And cari expert juga yang sesuai dalam design. Okay, design, game design. Okay. So those are responden yang sesuai untuk formative evaluation yang dia boleh highlight masalah tu. Okay. So kalau cari orang yang kata apa yang akan bagi feedback yang bagus je, actually it will not help you with you punya product tu. Okay, dia tak bagi feedback yang sebetulnya. So end up sampai kat formative evaluation you get very poor result lah. Ataupun Samati pun buat benda yang sama juga, cari orang yang akan bagi feedback yang bagus je, you tapis. Itu pun tak betul. Nanti bila you release the product to public kat luar sana, you will see it will reflect in the performance of the product. Okay, orang akan guna sekali je tak guna dah. Okay. Right. So siapa yang involve project team itself ataupun experts yang tahu yang subject matter tu. Okay. So it should help you to improve the design of the product. Right. Now, in terms of result yang akan dapat from formative evaluation ni, it can be less formal. Ni kalau you buat test tu among you and your partners ataupun group lain, you macam nak buat peer evaluation lah. You ask other group, tengok set mobile apps ni, so you pun demo and dia orang bagi comment. So the comment can be very verbally lah. You just explain apa you rasa tak bagus, apa you rasa macam redundant, apa you rasa macam tak perlu. Okay, so it can be less formal, but you can actually record session tu. Okay, so you learn from that session, apa you can improve lagi, right? Okay, so it can be less formal than summative evaluation. Okay. Ni contoh orang-orang yang boleh terlibat lah, designer, developer, okay, and other project participants. You boleh involve juga user, but normally in a small group lah. Formative evaluation is a small group. Because kadang-kadang user, dia bila nampak benda tu tak siap lagi, dia akan jadi macam confused tau. Sebab yelah masih level prototype kan, macam oh ni tak function, oh ni ada error. So dia akan jadi frust. But if you ask expert yang ada pengetahuan, yang pernah buat development of buat app ke, website ke, apa-apa sistem ke, they understand the process. So they will help you through lah, they will like guide you and bagi tahu apa benda yang patut buat, apa benda yang tak patut buat. But if you ask real users terus, they will get this frustration because I thought the system is like complete, dah boleh test tu, boleh test ni. So it might interfere with dia punya feedback sebab dia have this frustration kan. So that's why for formative normally tak akan involve internal team ataupun expert yang memang ada pengetahuan pada subject matter tu. Now, there are also some guidelines on what kind of procedure ataupun approach nak pakai dalam formative evaluation ni kan. So kat bawah ni ada bagi tahu beberapa. Antaranya heuristic evaluation, atau you can do UI inspection, you inspect user interface tu. Thinking aloud testing, okay. Ni yang paling senang yang ni lah. You demo je, lepas tu you punya kawan you akan cakap lah, ni tak bagus lah, ni tak nampak lah, ni kontras tak bagus, tak nampak, ni tak faham button ni buat apa. So thinking out loud lah tu, okay. Pluralistic accessibility walkthrough, cognitive walkthrough dan macam-macam lagi, okay. Semua-semua ni nanti I share dengan you boleh klik and you boleh tengok apa dia punya prosedur dia. Setiap satu ada prosedur dia. Meaning how many people you need to get in that group, okay, for to conduct evaluation tu. What are the checklist, apa checklist dia, okay, how long should you do the evaluation, how many times. Basically dia punya prosedur lah ada. Okay, dia pilih salah satu ni. Right. Okay, so ni formative, okay. This one. Satu lagi dekat sini juga apa. Okay, kat sini ada contoh. This is another website that I really like to go to, okay, for reference in UX and juga multimedia design lah, which is called Interaction Design Foundation.org. This is another good website, okay, macam NN Group tadi tu. So kat sini ada some guidelines on how to conduct heuristic evaluation. Okay. Heuristic ni maksud dia macam checklist lah. Checklist you check. Macam orang buat quality control, check, oh ni ada, tak ada, ni problem. Okay. So heuristic evaluation for multimedia project ni yang established macam Nielsen and Molik. So you can go through this. Dia ada selalunya yang famous yang Nielsen ada 10 heuristic on user interface. Okay. You can use this as a checklist. Maybe you have seen this before kan dalam kelas HCI ke UCD saya ingat. Sebab saya dah lama tak ajar dua subjek tu. I think HCI kot. Kan? Am I right? So this 10 usability heuristics. Okay, macam visibility of system status, match between system and the real world, user control, consistency. Okay, by now you should already like understand each of these heuristic lah. So that you can check masa you buat formative evaluation tu. Okay. Now you can just like brief them. Okay, we're gonna look into this heuristic. So while they are looking at each heuristic ni, they can comment lah secara thinking out loud ke apa ke. Ada 10 selalunya kat sini ada 10. Okay. But sometimes untuk team development multimedia yang dah expert, sometimes they would like to come up with their own heuristic atau their own checklist, very specific checklist. Okay. Siapa yang tak ada idea nak set macam ni checklist tu, you ikut je lah yang Nielsen punya ni, yang 10 ni, senang. Ini memang dah well established, ramai project dah guna, dah banyak project dah guna. Okay. So here you can also come up with your own heuristic. Okay. This evaluation. This dia teach you how to come up with your own heuristic. Right? A checklist tu. Tapi I don't think you have time for this, but you have very limited time untuk you buat formative evaluation ni. So I would recommend you pakai je apa-apa approach ataupun prosedur yang memang dah ada, dah established. Contohnya salah satunya seperti heuristic evaluation ni. Okay? Right. Now, what about this graph ni benda? Nampak kat sini tunjukkan number of evaluators, proportion of usability problems found. Okay, as you can see the number increases from 0 evaluators to 5 evaluators, 10, 15. Meaning to say, the more evaluators that you get, that you engage with, maknanya ramai expert you cuba engage dalam you punya formative evaluation ni, lagi banyak usability problem you akan identify. But somehow, it will go static once you like involve atau you engage with too many experts. Faham tak? Dia result akan jadi macam lebih kurang je. So, maksudnya you tak payah nak buang masa dan buang tenaga you jumpa sampai 15 orang. Tak payah. Sebab you akan dapat lebih kurang je problem dia. So, kat sini dia suggest. Ni yang I highlight ni. Nampak tak? Okay, Prof. Nielsen suggest. Nielsen ni siapa? Nielsen ni sebenarnya guru dalam usability. Okay. So, dia suggest between 3 and 5 evaluators. 3 ke 5 orang. So 3 is minimum, 5 is good enough. More than that, you will get headache je. Melayan banyak sangat expert, cakap benda yang sama, lebih kurang masalah yang sama dan you banyak habiskan masa dan tenaga lah basically. So this is good enough, 3 to 5. Okay, it's sufficient enough. Because it says here when the number of evaluators used increases, the number of problems identified increases in turn. Okay. So 3 to 5 3 to 5 experts. Tapi kena expert yang boleh bantu you lah, yang memang ada kepakaran dan juga ada knowledge pada subject matter tu. Okay? Clear So far, so good. Okay. Oh, ada something dekat dalam chat. Nabiha baru tanya. Saya baru explain. Sorry Nabiha, saya baru baca. So lebih kurang 3 ke 5 orang. Okay, 3 ke 5 orang. That's good enough. So bila 3 ke 5 orang ni, you mesti akan tanya, oh maknanya benda ni sebab dia sikit je kan. Selalu kan you pernah dibagi tahu sebelum ni, you've been told before that if you can get a very small group of respondent, then you have to go for qualitative. Kan? But if you can find like bigger group of respondents, then you can go for quantitative. Quantitative ni macam survey type lah. So you can analyze data secara quantitative, percentage, mean, standard deviation. But kalau qualitative, it has to be done through interviews. Kan, you need to like transcribe the interview and then analyze the transcription, right? Okay, so let's talk about that. So should we go for quantitative or qualitative? Silap kat sini. Okay. So here, okay, this one. Yeah. Summative evaluations can either be qualitative or quantitative. The same is true for formative evaluation. Meaning to say, you can do both. It can be either one or both. Okay, it can be qualitative or quantitative. Right? Okay, dari kat sini, formative evaluations aren't always qualitative. Tak semestinya qualitative. Walaupun you cuma engage dengan 3 ke 5 orang saja kan. Okay. Walaupun selalunya people will go for qualitative lah. But one thing about qualitative ni, satu lagi student tak faham. I don't know, maybe you don't get enough exposure dalam kelas seminar ke apa ke. It's not easy to do qualitative sebenarnya. Itu satu. And normally student will stop halfway. Dia buat interview. They transcribe interview tu, interview data tu, they transcribe and they will stop there. There's no analysis done to the transcribed data. So nanti bila lecturer baca report, so apa resultnya? Dia cuma bagi bukti je yang dia buat interview, then that is the transcription. But what are the analysis? What are the analysis? Apa benda yang you dapat dari situ? Apa yang you boleh interpret in between the transcription tu? Okay. Whether you want to do it deductively ke ataupun deductive dengan apa tadi? Inductively. Okay. So that's the case bila student buat qualitative ni, dia tak habiskan kerja tu. Okay. Right. So it says here, oops, yeah. Okay. It is recommended to run extended series of formative evaluation. It makes financial sense to use a cheaper qualitative study for each of them. It says qualitative ni can be cheaper because you don't have to like prepare anything. This question you can tanya. Okay. But sometimes with larger budgets, okay, you might use qualitative study for formative purposes in order to ensure that change to one of the essential features will perform satisfactorily. Okay. Maksudnya apa kat sini? So you can do both lah basically, sama ada qualitative ataupun quantitatively. But if it's quantitative pun untuk 5 orang tu atau 3 orang tu, yes you can ask them to, macam dia tunjukkan you boleh bagi checklist, dia check. But at the same time, bila dia inspect setiap satu checklist tu, they will give you some information. They will like verbally say something kan. They will like okay cakap, dia takkan cakap macam okay, visibility kurang. They will elaborate benda tu sebab dia experts kan. So the elaboration tu can actually complement you punya yang quantitative checking tu. Okay, so the elaboration you kena analyse. So apa suggestion dia bagi. Okay. So basically it can be both lah, even for formative. So don't just go for like interview sahaja. Normally interview ni okay, what do you think? Ataupun ada yang buat interview question. Tapi soalan dia, do you think that the interview looks easy to understand ke benda tu soalan dia? Soalan macam tu, do you, semua jawapan dia akan ada yes or no. Then you will not get a rich data from the interview. Okay, so it has to be open-ended. Cara buat soalan interview pun kena betul. So what I'm saying is that if you can't do a proper interview questions, you tak nak prepare soalan tu, you can do checklist macam tadi I tunjukkan. This one checklist. Ni, yang ni kan. Apa yang Nielsen 10 heuristic ni, yang atas ni. Okay. So you buat macam table, macam matrix, checklist. Tapi when they inspect setiap checklist tu, setiap item tu, they will give you some comments. Okay. So that's why you have to like record the whole session lah, because they will comment, dia punya facial expression, body language, semua tu you kena baca lah. Okay, masa you buat formative evaluation ni. Right? Okay. Then what else? This another good guideline juga ataupun tips untuk you. How can you identify which ataupun apa benda yang nak measure tu, okay? Mungkin you akan start dengan question kan, you akan tanya apa benda you nak measure ni. You mungkin ada persoalan, okay, yang you fikir. So your questioning can be also be ways to determine whether you want to go for what kind of evaluation. Okay, like for example here, tengok formative dulu lah formative. If you were looking for what usability issues exist in your product atau you punya project tu, usability issues, kat mana yang orang susah nak guna, tak faham, kat mana yang bermasalah, that could be formative ataupun summative. So you will find instrument yang sesuai untuk usability ni. Adalah heuristic pun ada survey question pun ada. Okay. Contoh lagi yang lain, contoh macam you nak tanya pasal, do users understand our navigation? Kalau ni persoalan you lah. But you don't ask this to you punya expert. Okay, so it's about navigation. You think your navigation is a bit too complex atau mungkin you buat game. Orang faham ke gameplay ni? Nak go to next level. Faham ke? So you have that issues in your mind. So you will ask that part dekat you punya expert. Okay, is it okay? How do you see this can be improved? So that can be formative evaluation because you pun ada isu tu dalam kepala you tengah fikir kan. Okay, contohnya yang lain, does our interface comply with recognized people? Okay, kalau if you're wondering whether whatever you are designing ni, UI ni, comply tak dengan standard usability. Okay, so that could be also another formative because you nak tahu, okay, you nak tahu sama ada there's something, there's more need to be done to improve kan. So that is formative lah. So these are questions that you might have in your mind. So this should be the type of evaluation lah. So since summative we'll do later. So I'm not going to discuss summative sekarang. Okay. Okay. But just to show you the difference kalau nak buat summative, soalan dia akan jadi macam performance. Performance kan benda yang macam end, yang dah di hujung proses. Basically apa output dia ataupun dia punya result dia. So if you have things related to performance, that will be summative evaluation. Okay. But usability can be both, usability ni. Because it can be something you can fix or something that actually reflect experience. Bila usability tu bagus, experience tu akan jadi bagus lah. Kan? Yang ni pula, bila you nak compare, adakah apa you buat ni, okay, nampak lebih bagus ke ataupun lebih, does it look better or less than you punya benchmark? Okay, that one is summative lah. Summative. So benchmark you, mungkin apa existing application you dah jumpa tu ataupun mana-mana reference you, that could be your benchmark. Okay. Experience. Let me talk about experience. If you wonder about how the overall experience, that could be summative as well. So I hope you can see the difference. Summative is about the outcome, the result, the performance, okay, of the product. But formative is the ongoing process of how you can improve your punya product tu. Right? Sakit tekak cakap. So find any question? Did I miss out on anything? Jap. Okay. Ini dah. Ada something here yang I would like to highlight. Ini yang I baca. Itulah nak tunjuk. So formative evaluation as it means the way your project is unfolding, the form it's taking, what you're doing, when you're doing it. Basically the ongoing process lah. But summative is about, it summarizes the impact. Impact, the word is impact. So it's the end result. Kan? So this is different from formative. So now we look at the ongoing process dulu. Identifying flaws that can be improved. Okay. Before I go to example, I would like to hear any question that you would like to ask. 23 of you, ada any question? So far? So far clear, madam. Okay, Syamir. Syamir seorang juga clear. Thank you, Syamir, for responding.
Madam,
Yes.
nak tanya, untuk formative evaluation kena buat 2 kali FE dengan expert review dengan expert.
Itu dah saya kata sebab dia iterative process kan. Macam saya cakap tadi, kalau you buat satu round sahaja, the feedback that you get from the first round tu, you might misinterpret. Okay, mungkin tak tahu you segan nak tanya semula ke, you rasa you agak-agak je ke apa yang expert cakap kan. Lepas tu you pun buat improvement kat your prototype. And that's it. You tak buat another round, second round ke third round ke. That quite risky jugalah. You might miss apa benda sebenarnya message sebenar yang expert tu nak cakap. So, my advice is it will be good, it will be great if you can do another round with the same expert. Show whatever improvement you have made based on dia punya feedback masa first round tu. Okay? But I know that you won't have enough time to do like sampai 3, 4, 5, 6 kali. So I think 2 is good enough. Is sufficient enough for you punya FYP ni lah. Because of your timeline pun tak lama sangat kan. Boleh? Okay. Just to recheck ataupun reconfirm whatever that you got from the first round tu, you have interpret it correctly and apa do appropriate improvement lah ataupun changes to you punya prototype tu. Okay.
Kalau first round kami buat 3 expert review, lepas tu second round kena buat untuk 3 expert review sekali ke macam mana?
Itulah, kalau boleh you engage dengan the same expert, the same respondent supaya dia boleh check balik whatever thing that you have interpret daripada feedback dia yang mula-mula tu, and whatever you have done improvement tu you punya project tu, dia akan check lah, okay betul lah macam ni lah maksud saya lah, contoh macam tu lah. Atau kalau you mungkin daripada 3 orang tu masa first round, maybe you're not that clear about feedback from salah satu expert tu, maybe you can go again lah for the second round kat expert tu. Kalau kau mungkin expert yang pertama, yang ketiga tu mungkin dah clear dah, you rasa memang very straightforward, you pun dah buat pembetulan tu, then mungkin you boleh skip lah, you just go back to whichever expert you tak berapa nak clear, nak make sure yang apa yang you buat tu dah betul. But if you have the time and also able to engage with them for the second or third round, then it will be better. Okay, patutnya macam tu. Tak tahulah, pensyarah pun kadang-kadang dia memanglah sibuk kan. Tapi kadang-kadang tak bagi komitmen jugalah. Saya pun kesian kat student. Tapi kalau boleh, you pun kena make sure sesi tu berlaku dengan teratur lah. You ada perancangan yang bagus. Jangan macam time tu pula macam tak tahu nak start macam mana. Senyap je, tunggu seorang je cakap. You kena properly plan lah. Supaya pensyarah pun rasa macam okay, senang nak keluarkan idea, nak bantu you. Sebab yelah, most of pensyarah akan bagi excuse sibuk lah kan. So you have to make it like a proper session yang senang, yang mudah kan. Kalau feedback tu boleh dirakam, rakam. Kalau feedback tu boleh digunakan form nak tik je, buat macam tu. Kalau boleh kurangkan apa psikomotor, kurangkan kerja pensyarah tu nak kena tulis ke, nak kena buat report ke, nak bagi feedback kat you. Okay? Ataupun nak kena isi form ke. Kalau boleh guna cara yang lebih mudah lah. Kat situ you lebih arif lah kot. Okay?
Okay, faham doktor. Terima kasih.
Okay, sama. Any more question? Lagi satu, since banyak pensyarah yang selalu kata dia sibuk, you will end up jumpa pensyarah yang sama je, saya rasa lah. Ada pensyarah yang sanggup lah kan nak jadi respondent. Tapi kalau boleh, you besarkan scope you. You don't just look at pensyarah je. Ada ramai sebenarnya. Kalau you ada macam, you happen to know any freelance yang buat programming ke, yang buat design ke, yang buat apps development ke, by all means you can just approach them. Orang luar pun boleh, okay? Ataupun if you punya project ni something to do with children education ke sebagainya kan, you can go and find expert dalam bidang tu. Jangan semua duk ligan pensyarah multimedia nanti ada beberapa kekat ni. Mulalah nanti ada isu pensyarah tak layan lah, pensyarah kata sibuk lah. Okay, so you just have to like besarkan sikit scope of respondent you tu. Okay. As long as respondent tu ada knowledge in the subject matter and also ada expertise lah. Okay. Alright. Okay, let's have a look at example. Saya tak sempat nak tutup nama ke apa ke example tu. But I'm not trying to like, bila nak tunjuk kesalahan tu, bukan dalam kata nak malukan pelajar-pelajar tu lah. Saya cuma nak bagi example of things that you should not repeat lah. And should not repeat the same thing, same mistake. Okay, sekejap saya tunjukkan. Tak semestinya semua example ni betul dan tak semestinya semuanya salah. So I'm gonna highlight lah. Sekejap Okay. Dekat dalam OL ni pun ada satu je nak tengok. Example. But I'm not sure whether I want to use this as a good example atau tidak. So this project is about mobile apps. Okay, dia buat mobile apps untuk anti-sedentary behavior change support system. Untuk apps untuk remind orang supaya tak duduk je tu, macam you punya smartwatch je kan. If you sit for too long, it will remind you it's time to stand up kan. Bukan macam tu lah. Tapi this one is a mobile apps. Okay. Oops, dia nampak kat nama. Okay, this one. So, we will provide you format on how you can report your formative evaluation ni. Macam introduction, purpose evaluation, ni semua ni memang student copy je daripada senior-senior sebelum ni kot saya rasa. But then again, the method instrument ni, it should be something yang unique to your project lah. Okay. So let's have a look at this example. Let's have a look at this, the method dulu. So method yang student ni pakai, kumpulan ni pakai, this team, they went for interview, synchronous interview. Maknanya it's a real-time interview lah. Yeah, it happened online. Okay, so several experts involved. Expert in mobile app development, also expert in UI design. Okay, so I think they have like engaged with the correct expert lah, expert yang sesuai. Interview, so the method is interview. So it's qualitative lah interview, so it should have like questions, interview question. Interview will take place in real time using an online platform, blah blah blah. With this method, qualitative data had been used for data gathering. So the method is qualitative. Okay, that's what they claim lah. Look at the instrument. Now, instrument is actually the tools that you use to actually collect the data. Since it's interview, so basically you need to prepare the interview questions. Okay, and also the prototype also must be ready. Those are the tools needed. Basically bahan-bahan ni lah sebelum you nak pergi interview tu kan. What else? Maybe you need to also set up the meeting link. Okay, if it's a WebEx ke, Skype ke and whatnot ke. Maybe you need to also prepare the consent form. Those pun dalam instrument juga. So, masa tu, ini dah prosedur dia ni. Explain about the purpose ni bukan instrument. Instrument should discuss about instrument lah. Basically tools, apa yang you bawa, apa bahan-bahan dia yang you nak prepare, nak conduct interview session tu. Okay. So here it says, ni boleh cakap pasal interview. Interview tu ada questionnaire. Prepare dan Google Form. Okay. So interview pakai form pula. Ni pun agak pelik kat sini. Okay. So ada 3 dimensi yang dia nak tengok. Functionality, navigation, interface. So these are the things that they need to find out whether they need to improve lah. Functionality, navigation and interface design. Interview also collect opinion and suggestion. Okay. So these are their experts. Ada 3 orang which is okay lah, cukup lah, sufficient lah kan. It's now 3 ke 5 orang. So this is correct. Ni betul. Expert skill pun betul. Sesuai dengan bidang. Sesuai dengan subject matter. Tiba-tiba result. So sepatutnya kat sini, this should be explained dalam instrument sebenarnya. So this is the instrument. Basically the high fidelity prototype that you have prepared for the interview. So this is their high fidelity prototype. Okay. So these are the questions. So this, I assume this is the question that they put in the Google form in terms of functionality, in terms of interface design, as well as navigation. Okay. So they ask the expert to rate benda ni. So in your opinion, what is the most important function of this app? You look at the first question, asking for opinion, most important function. Why do you need to ask this question? How does it help you to improve? Whether to check whether function tu kata apa? Apa is it? Sesuai ke tidak? Is it? Whether you need to include or exclude the function. So you need to ask again if you put question macam ni, why you need to have this question? Whether it's a question to determine whether you need to include or exclude the function ataupun apa. Okay. So tak apa jelas lah kat sini. Do you think the following contents are relevant? Statistic for goal step, statistic for sitting. Soalan macam ni pun do you ni, it will be like yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. But I'm not sure. Sekejap, kat bawah ni ada dia punya transcription dia. Kat sini. Transcription dia pun kelakar juga. Just very straightforward transcription. Participant A ni kan. Mana? And do you think tu? Most important function. The content statistic for goals, steps and statistics sitting working. This one. Do you think the content for statistic for goal steps and statistic for sitting and walking time are relevant for the application? Not necessary context. Okay, so this is the response. Okay, so this is the more important data sebenarnya as compared to yang dalam table ni. Okay, but what happened is that this group dia tak analyse data kat dalam interview tu, dia ambil kat sini je. Okay, so you dapat no, yes, not necessary. So how do you respond to not necessary ni? Okay. And then do you think this app have the potential to help office workers reduce? Ni pun sama yes, no with some comments. Okay. Are the font type and font size suitable? Ni pun sama yes, no. Okay. You should be asking how they can highlight. Need to be improved lah with for the font type and font size ni. Okay. So this is their data that they get from the interview. This is from the Google form. Yang kat bawah tu is while they are doing the interview tu, they ask mungkin aku expert tu untuk elaborate sikit kan. Okay. So here ada sedikit analysis. But let's have a look at the analysis ni. Lebih kurang 3 paragraph. Okay. After interview to the expert, get opinion feedback. Okay. About this dimension, 3 dimension ni. Okay, now kat sini baru start. Ni tak ada apa-apa atas ni. For the first dimension, functionality. Most important function. Participant A said that we have to ensure the apps can be run at the background. Participant B told us we have to make sure that all Android users can run this app in their phone. C, So what can you conclude from this one? What can you conclude? That the content, you just stop. Okay, for the first question, dah stop kat sini. No conclusion. What can you implicate ataupun apa implikasi daripada respon-respon ni? Okay. Are you going to like follow majority ke sebab ada 3? 2 kata okay, 1 tak okay. So what is your response? Apa implication of this feedback? Okay, to you punya prototype tu. Then next question. Ini masuk next question lah. Okay, most of the participants think that the content of statistic for goal steps and statistic for sitting are relevant. Okay, so relevant. And that's it. Okay. We also had asked whether there's been a potential to help office workers to reduce their sitting time or not. I said yes, users supposed to bring. So basically they just repeat balik. This is not actually analysis, so this is actually dia punya finding. Maknanya data yang dapat raw, this is still raw data. Tak ada conclusion, tak ada discussion, tak ada macam how you interpret benda tu. Faham tak? Okay, so basically dia just ulang balik dalam bentuk paragraph apa dia punya finding dia. Okay. Same goes to second dimension, sama jugalah. Okay. And then I was hoping to see how you analyze transcription ni. Okay, this ada few important macam information jugalah kan dalam answers ni, dalam interviewee punya answer ni. Okay. Contohnya macam this one. Apa yang interviewee cakap. So how do you analyze it? Okay, apa maksud relevant? Relevant tu macam mana? So you kena elaborate benda tu, you kena interpret. Okay. Lagi satu, I think soalan ni tak mencukupi sebenarnya untuk nak identify apa masalah. Ataupun mungkin soalan yang yang diorang pilih ni, soalan-soalan yang memang akan menonjolkan aspek yang positif je lah dalam apps ni. Okay, maybe maybe those are the strength of the apps. Okay, they didn't like really scrutinize sampai level kat mana lagi yang bermasalah. Okay. So perhaps that is the case lah. Right. So formative semua okay. So tak ada masalah, tak ada improvement. So jadinya report ni habis kat sini je, kat conclusion. Look at the conclusion. Ada satu paragraph macam ni je. Without any discussion what improvement have been made to the prototype. Okay. So they just highlight all these positive feedback sahaja. So to me this is not the correct way to do formative evaluation. Okay. Faham tak? You get me? Okay. So mungkin nampak macam okay lah ni. So positif, yang ni pun cakap positif, and the apps pun, prototype pun dah ready, but it defeat the purpose of formative evaluation. Okay. There should be something that you can actually improve here. Okay. Yang benda yang kena improve tu you kena bincangkan lah. Okay. Don't just settle for all the positive feedback sahaja. Because formative is meant to actually help you repair you punya produk tu. Okay, next example. Tengok ini. Yang ni tadi buat apps kan? Yang ini buat apa Saya nak cuba tunjuk beberapa contoh yang berbeza-beza sikit lah. Sebab ada yang buat video. Ini buat apa dah? Letak terus screen. Ni lagi. Sekejap. Tak ingat lah dia buat apa. Oh, counselling system. Okay. Yang ni buat pasal counselling system. It's a system lah. Okay, now. Siapa yang buat sistem? This is another example yang you need to learn from. Not a good example. So here evaluation, they explain about what formative evaluation is. Now look at the method. Okay. So method they choose is expert review. Alright, expert review, fine. Now expert review, who are the experts? Did they mention? So expert ada 3, okay cukup, 3 orang, sufficient, 3, and all are lecturers, okay. In related field, okay, fine. And then here dah start cakap pasal prosedur dia ni, prosedur, how they conduct the evaluation, this should be in the next section lah, procedure. So these are the form that they provide, okay, so expert review. So other things that they review actually, they look at functional, non-functional. Okay, let's have a look at the question, zoom kat question ni sikit. Ini pun sama soalan yes, no, okay. It will make the respondent hard to actually elaborate on the question if it's yes. It will stop there lah. Okay, so if no pun kadang-kadang you don't really get respon yang macam elaborated lah, yang diterangkan dengan jelas. So question ni macam ni untuk untuk formative evaluation is not going to help you improve your punya system tu. Okay. So you should go something yang lebih general tau. Macam you ada heuristic kan, heuristic. Contoh macam heuristic tadi ni kan. This one. Okay, first heuristic, visibility of system status. Users should always be informed of system operation with easy to understand and highly visible status displayed on the screen. So it will make the expert want to go through and see the whole system to whether this visibility of system status ni exists or not. Okay. If not, they might give you some points lah. Nak bagi tahu, okay, there should be a system status somewhere here to not get, so that the user won't get confused. So it will trigger more discussion tau, ataupun more input, okay, daripada instead of you tanya do you tu kan. Okay. So in the end, as you can expect, result yang dia dapat tu memang tengok result dia. Satu paragraph je. Lepas tu dia akan ulang balik expert tu komen apa, ni komen apa. Sebab expert kebanyakan cakap yes je without any further comments. So there's nothing to actually implicate, doesn't imply anything, you can't actually interpret anything. Okay. And again, yang paling frustrating part is conclusion. You conclude benda tu without showing any improvement made to the prototype. So what have been done to the prototype after you got the feedback? And this also shows that student only buat one round of formative evaluation sahaja. Okay. So this mistake might happen like so many times. Dia kadang-kadang cakap terlampau awal sangat, awal semester, ni baru minggu ketiga, and it will take you like 3 to 4 weeks nak completekan formative evaluation ni. By week lepas raya nanti, I don't think you still remember ni lah. That's the problem, I think. Macam mana kita nak bantu je. Okay, jom tengok contoh lain yang ni apa? Ini pun sistem juga. Saya nak cari yang video sebab ada yang buat video kan. Okay, katanya macam mana nak buat untuk VR ni video. Ini buat pasal documentary video pasal hutan sintok. Okay, so dia documentary ni pasal preserving hutan sintok lah basically. This is the formative evaluation. Let's have a look. So here, introduction, purpose dan target gathering. So method dia expert review juga. Expert review ni guna online platform. Okay. Meet expert interview advantage. So dia interview lah. So kita guna interview. It involve expert. Okay, so 3 experts. Okay, sufficient. 3 orang. 2 video experts. 1 is content expert. Okay, which is yang expert pasal hutan lah kot. It's content expert, okay. So they prepare interview questions, instrument. Ini pun tak habis. There should be more instrument interview questions. Basically the video ataupun the demo ada video ke. Okay, so it should be detail kat sini lah untuk instrument. Ni experts. So these are the procedures. Now tengok kat result dia. Okay. And sebenarnya kan dalam apa katanya research ethics, okay, you're not supposed to disclose you punya respondent tau, okay, because bila you buat consent form, dalam consent form tu kan you dah cakap situ, all this information are going to be used for research purposes only and none of the sensitive information ke apa-apa like about the respondent will be disclosed in whatever forms kan, including their pictures, their face, their names, where whether it actually work pun patutnya tak boleh disclose sebenarnya. Tapi ini antara kesilapan yang ada dalam sampel ni. Okay, dia disclose dia punya respondent face, name, macam-macam lah. So ini pun sama, dia buat interview. So these are the question. Okay. Question ni quite bagus. Dia akan buka lebih banyak discussion. It trigger more things to say lah, discussion, inputs from ni. But they only like transcribe lah benda tu, transcribe. Tengok adakah dia menganalisa. Ni expert B pun tunjuk muka juga. Okay. This is transcription transcription. Ni pun sama, expert yang ketiga, content expert yang tahu pasal hutan, they only transcribe. Okay. Now, dekat sini baru start discussion. So discussion for formative. Okay, let's see what are the discussion about. Alright, so they group the discussion in terms of narrator's voice, visual distraction, apa lagi? Multimedia elements, content information relativity, title arrangements, what else? Okay, kumpulan ni macam ada sikit bagus, ada part yang okay. Okay, part discussion ni, it shows that they really consider feedback tu, and they like analyze it. Okay, they summarize what kind of improvement made, and it shows here, contohnya macam ni kan, whatever suggestion made by the experts, okay, dia highlight kat mana, tapi saya dah lari sikit kot, so buka dalam Google Drive kan. So what are the improvement made, apa benda yang dia orang dah omit, dah buang, watermark and what not. This is before kot, and this is after. So they discuss improvement made tu lah to the prototype. Okay, macam ni okay. Okay. Ni okay, part ni okay lah pula. Cumanya, I think they only did the evaluation one round sahaja. Okay. So they didn't do any second round of evaluation. Kalau dia boleh justify, kata okay, all the information are clear and they have made justification and maybe they have like informed sahaja ke, and get consent, like verbal consent that whatever they have made, whatever improvement they have made tu is correct, is according to what? Is according to the feedback. Okay. Tu tak apalah. Okay. Cuma yang ni, isu dia tak buat lagi satu round lah. Okay. And then conclusion. Just conclude balik je pasal formative evaluation. Okay. Yang ni ada part yang okay, ada part yang tak okay lah dalam sampel ni. Right? Part yang tak okay, dia disclose dia punya respondent. Gambar, dia gambar muka, nama and so on. Right. So siapa yang buat video, dia bolehlah tengok contoh nanti. Okay, so dalam video ni antara soalan-soalan yang nak tanya, nak help you improve the video. Of course you want to ask about the impression when they look at the video, because video ni yang penting orang nak tarik perhatian kan. The first 30 seconds tu yang paling penting nak bagi orang nak tengok video sampai habis. Kalau first 30 seconds pun dah boring, orang tak akan tengok lah, orang akan skip. Okay. Lepas tu, whether information tu they can understand, apa need to be improved, elements. Soalan-soalan ni macam okay, boleh tahan juga. Okay. Next example. Any question tak so far? Yang ni pun sistem. Kita dah tunjuk tadi. Tapi tadi yang contoh tak apa nak okay. Yang ni pun sama. Yang ni pun buat video juga. Video pasal PSA. Tengok formative dia. Okay, dia PSA pasal domestic violence between gender. So kita tengok macam mana dia buat formative evaluation. Belajar. Okay, method. Another interview juga. So they want to look at this dimension, content, interface design and interactivity. Interactivity? Pelik sikit sebab video kan. Is it interactive video? Tak ada. Saya pun tak ingat dah. So ada 3 expert. Okay, good. This is sufficient enough. So they conduct online interview. Demographic content. Untuk expert review yang melibatkan 3 orang tak boleh buat demographic pun tak apa. Sebab dia sikit je kan. Tapi you boleh lah bincangkan dari segi experience. Experience boleh. So part B, content storytelling. So this is where the question start lah. The question. Cuma soalan dia, soalan part B ni a bit macam, okay, how does it help in terms of improving the content kan? Sebab soalan-soalan ni macam lebih kepada soalan yang psikologi lah sebenarnya. Macam probability of abusers to change, how the victim should act, kan? It's kalau dia tanya expert dalam psikologi tu mungkin lah, mungkin. But soalan macam ni dia tak membantu dari segi multimedia design tu, nak improve dia punya PSA tu. This should be question that they ask masa buat prelim, nak fahamkan content before they buat video tu. Okay. Now, design interface, animation. In terms of character boleh. Character, colour, background, art and animation. Okay. Mana bahagian C? Ada 3 tadi. Design interface dengan interactivity kan? Interactivity tak ada. Patut tak tanya pun sebab dia PSA. Tak ada interaction. So this is the procedure. Participants. Okay, so this is how they present dia punya result. So these are the comment feedback. This is the raw finding. Raw finding. So this is how they respond to the finding. So dia buat dalam table juga. Question, answer. Sama lah ni dia punya raw finding. And this is how they respond. Art animation. And through discussion. So look at the discussion kejap. Tak ada apa kat sini. Ini pun tak ada apa. Daripada sini sampai sini tak ada apa-apa. Dia cuma just explain balik pasal expert review ni. Cuma kat sini baru start. Kat sini baru start. As recommendation and reviews, how to create improvement to the 2D PSA. So what kind of improvement? Enhance the art and animation. Okay. So they change the style of animation tu. Dia punya art, dia punya drawing tu. They change the style of the drawing. Sebab masa level formatting ni, I still remember the PSA tu ada 2 style. Satu macam anime sikit, satu tu macam, I don't know, terpautun sikit punya cartoon. Okay, so they decide on one style. Puppet tools, After Effect. So, tapi sikit je lah. Ni je. Ini dia feedback, ini dia how they interpret the feedback and how to respond to it. Okay. And again, this one pun sama, tak buat more than once. Just satu round of evaluation sahaja. And it doesn't like explain how improvement been made to the prototype. Okay. Okay. Yang buat game saya tengok. Ada tak yang buat game? Ini bukan. 2. 1. Mungkin ke? Ini bukan game juga. Ini apa dah? Ini learning, macam learning apps, mobile learning apps. Okay. This is the rubric method. They use qualitative. That's the thing lah. Even though dah bagi tahu sebenarnya ada banyak cara, it not necessarily it has to be qualitative. But since student nampak macam respon dia sikit, so they straight away go for qualitative lah interview. But problem arise when they don't know how to analyze the interview data. Okay, tu masalah dia. So I would like to highlight to you again, there are many ways to do formative evaluation, not just interview saja. You can go heuristic evaluation, UI inspection. So find out apa dia punya prosedur untuk setiap satu ni. Okay. So it give you more options lah macam nak conduct. Okay, daripada buat interview, satu interview ni bukan senang nak buat soalan. Kadang-kadang soalan you tak membantu pun nak cari masalah. Kan lepas dah tengok beberapa example tadi, yang satu, you tak tahu nak analyse interview data tu. You know how to transcribe but you don't analyse the data. So no interpretation made to the data, and you tak tunjuk how feedback you dapat tu, how you apply dalam you punya prototype. Okay. So I will share with you nanti reference ni for you to have a look and consider not to just stick to qualitative interviews sahaja. There are so many other options for you to do formative evaluation. Okay. Saya pun tak tahu dah. Saya nak cari game. Saya ada satu yang buat game ni. Sekejap untuk geng-geng yang buat game ni, kalau nak tengok contoh. Ni dah Ni dah. Tak ada contoh game lah pula. Tak simpan kat sini. Apa? Dia kalau ada contoh tu saya akan share. So lepas ni do check UMOL because I will share all the links to the references now. Okay. And also sample of the report. So most of the report that I show you have issues lah kan. They are not actually good examples. Because the mistake has been repeated so many times every semester. So I hope this will be the semester that change happen lah. But there are also few yang you boleh belajar lah daripada report itu, macam yang highlight ada part yang bagus, ada part yang not supposed to happen dalam report tu. So if I were to share ni kan, you ingat tu contoh yang bagus pula. Okay, but I'm gonna share this video for you to tengok balik and learn from the mistake and whatnot. Okay. Alright. I've been talking for 1 hour and a half. So do you have any question to ask? Please ask question. Banyak pula. If you want to ask question, you can ask me now. No? No question? Are you sure? Doktor, after class kena nak bincang dengan doktor boleh? Okay, boleh.
Kosha, dia tak angkat lagi. Tu Kosha.
Tu.
Kosha dia tak angkat lagi.
Tak. Okay, if you want to ask apa ni? Personally pun boleh jugalah. But I hope you can see the main point that I would like to highlight here about formative evaluation ni, and also the common mistakes that students keep on repeating. And I hope you will not repeat the same thing juga. Boleh? So quiet lah this group. Ni dah FYP 2 pun masih senyap macam ni, macam mana ni? Sunjin cakap, okay. Okay. So do remind me nanti I will upload the video for you to watch again. Sekejap. Ni tengok balik ni. Sign here. in the OL. Where's the OL? OL. Kita lupa OL kat mana. Yang ni kot. So here. So this is week 3 kan. So you have 1, 2, 3. 4, bukan 4 weeks including midterm break. Okay, for you to conduct your punya formative evaluation tu. 4 ke? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Improve. Bukan 5 minggu lah, 5 minggu. Sebab submission of report tu happen in the following week. So 5 week, I think 1 month plus. I think it's sufficient enough for you to do at least 2 rounds of formative evaluation. Okay. So please plan your work and manage your time properly. So that you can have a very useful and information evaluation process lah that you can improve you punya ni, right? Okay, so you can start planning this week. Let's discuss with supervisor dulu, okay, about which method that you want to choose, siapa respondent dia, okay. But do demo dulu lah you punya prototype tu. And please discuss any issues related to prototype tu with your supervisor so that they might give you some opinion lah. Part mana yang you need to highlight masa formative evaluation tu untuk you dapatkan feedback untuk buat improvement kan. Okay. But most important thing is do not like hide all your weaknesses, only highlight your strength because it will not be helpful. Okay. Okay, so itu saja. If you don't have any things to ask. Simple peraya. Boleh Afiq nak raya dah. Sini cakap upload meeting. Okay, sure. I will upload. I will upload dekat YouTube dulu and I'll share you with the link. Because I don't have enough space dah dekat I punya Webex. And so that's why all the recordings dia tak store kat situ dah. Dia akan save kat dalam my local disk lah. Okay. But do remind me again Sunji if I forget ke apa. Okay, I think that's all for today. If there's no question, I hope you betul faham lah. Okay. Mungkin right now you tengah serabut fikir saya yang prototype ke, tak apa. Still have time to like plan, at least by this weekend you plan lah your formative evaluation. And do see your supervisor juga. Okay, this week or next week, at least before you balik cuti midterm. Okay. Okay, if there's no question, I think I will end the session now. So I'll see you next week, inshallah, week 4. To look at your progress of your formative evaluation ni. Okay. Right. Okay, itu saja. Thank you so much for your attention. Oh, attendance for those yang join lepas saya dah tutup tu. Sekejap Boleh ke? Sekejap. Attendance. Okay. Ni scan attendance. For those yang dah scan, you may leave. Thank you. I'll see you next week.